Wife on rent. Renting a car, house and other things are very common. You must have even heard about renting the womb of a woman. But have you ever heard about renting a wife? In this particular village of Madhya Pradesh, you can rent a wife for a week up to a year. And today I'm going to explain you the super interesting process of renting a wife. First, both the parties make a deal and decide the rent amount for that woman. And once the deal is finalized by both the parties, they sign an agreement where the whole process of renting that particular woman is written with an official government stamp. In that stamp paper, it will be mentioned how many days that particular woman have to stay with the man who rented her, like for 1 week, 1 month, 6 months or 1 year. Once the duration of the agreement is over, that woman will be sent back to her parents or husband to be rented out again to a new customer. And this practice of buying and selling girls for rent is called dadicha, and the women who are being rented out are called as molki, which means priced. And at the end of the contract period, the girl's ownership can be transferred for a higher amount and the contract can be renewed if the man wants it. Also, the system is not that regressive, you know. The woman can withdraw from the contract at any time she wants. Yes, there's a rule like that, but that doesn't mean she's empowered to use it. A big announcement for all the UPSC aspirants out there. I am coming on the biggest ever event for UPSC, the Unacademy Manzil 2024. It's not just me, we have Sandeep Bhaiya from the Aspirant series joining us, all our 2023 toppers, IAS officers, top educators and 2 other big reveals are waiting for you. Don't miss it, it's going to be live on 28th April 1 PM onwards. There's a link in the description as well as in the comments. Go click the link and press on the notify me button right now. To withdraw from the contract, the women should give an affidavit. After that, the women should return the predetermined rental amount to her ex-husband. The women accepting more money from another customer is also a breach of the contract. And if the man who rented that woman wants to continue the contract with that particular woman, he can pay an additional amount and continue the ownership. And the market where you can rent the women has some serious and severe rules and regulations. The younger the girl, the higher the price. If you're still confused, if it's a young unmarried girl, her parents will rent her out. If it's a married woman, her husband will rent her out. If the girl is a virgin, aesthetically pleasing, has a fair skin tone and a curvy body, the prices can go as high as 2 lakh or even more. Therefore, to make these girls look more beautiful, their parents give them some sort of drugs to increase their breast size and body muscles to attract more wealthy customers and fetch higher amounts when they are being rented out for the first time. Virgin girls between the age of 8 to 15 have more demand in the market, whereas non-virgin girls are being rented out for as cheap as 10 to 20,000 a year. So why do they do it? The main reasons they do it because of poverty, literacy, unemployment, unequal gender ratio, and most importantly, they think they own the women. Many people consider these inhuman options because it's an easy way of making lots of money quickly. We generally tend to think men involved in these activities must be poor and uneducated and labeled as lower caste by the society. But the irony is, men from rich families, men from well-educated families who are considered as upper caste by the society are coming to these markets to rent a bride. Imagine what a good deal this is. They don't have to spend so much money on the wedding. At the same time, they don't even have to get stuck with one single woman for the rest of their life. Men who don't have a proper job and men who are very old, widowed men and men who don't find girls in their locality come to such markets to rent a bride. And this is not a thing that's happening only in the Shivpuri village of Madhya Pradesh. Similar cases have been reported in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana and UP as well. In Dholpur, Rajasthan, for example, the women are sold on market days. Here the women market is just beside the cattle market, but the only difference is the value of cattle is much higher than the value of a woman. Socially and economically backward families consider the girl children as a burden because getting them married is a costly affair. Even though demanding dowry is a punishable offense in India, we all know how much of a reality that is. Also, the rich people take advantage of the poor situation of these families. It was reported in Gujarat that an agricultural laborer had given his wife on rent for 1 month to the landlord. And in many places, these practices are happening like a business. And you can state hundreds of reasons like poverty, literacy, gender ratio, and many more for this inhuman act of renting out the women in your family. But it all sums up to one point, that you consider them, the women in your family, as nothing more than an object. That's why when you're in need, when you need money, you're renting them out like vehicles to be physically, mentally, and sexually exploited. Even though the police is very well aware of this issue, no legal action is being taken because there are no complaints. Imagine these women are being rented out like some objects by their own husband and fathers, and the police is waiting for them to lodge a complaint. Wow. I was too naive to realize what was going on until I realized I was married off to a man 4 times my age. A girl named Reshma said this was rented out by her own parents when she was just 8 years old. This went on for a year, but finally after 1 whole year, she came back home only to be rented out to another different client. Totally, she was rented out to 9 different clients, but fortunately she managed to contact some NGO and they took her out of that shithole. Sitting at home right now, I can tell you 10 different stories of women who went through this, but I don't want to. It's way too depressing to even talk about it. What's even more unfortunate is that we, the outside world, never got to know about this. Why the media is not talking about this? I agree the number of people who practice this could be less, but every single life matters, right?